Today's video is for students and physical therapists and physical therapist assistants who want to become pelvic health providers. I'm going to be talking about my journey and steps you can take to become specialized in pelvic health. I'm Dr. Alex Hill, your physical therapist for everything oncology and pelvic health. So to tell you a little bit about me, I went to undergrad at Kent State University and I completed my Doctor of Physical Therapy at the University of Florida. While I was on a clinical rotation at UF, I was able to observe physical therapists who specialized in pelvic health and oncology rehab, and I fell in love with these populations from day one. I was able to do a women's health clinical rotation, but I didn't see all the populations that I was interested in. I felt like it was too short, and I didn't feel confident with working with complex cases in these populations. And I wanted more mentoring as well as other learning opportunities in these specialties. So with those being my motivating factors, I applied for and got into the women's health residency at Duke University. And during this residency, I became a certified lymphedema therapist, or CLT. And I also had the training to help me sit for and pass the board certification exam for women's health. At that time, there was not an oncology specialist exam, so I didn't take that exam until 2020. Fun fact, I took it on Friday the 13th of March, which was the day that everything in Maryland really started to shut down because of COVID. Crazy times. Anyway, so since I graduated almost 9 years ago, pelvic health, oncology, lymphedema, and lymphatic conditions have really been the only populations that I've worked with, and I really wouldn't have it any other way. I love these folks. So now let's talk about you and how you can become a pelvic health physical therapist. If you're still a student, the number one thing to do is complete a clinical rotation in pelvic health. If there aren't any available near you, or it's too late to get a clinical rotation in pelvic health, that's okay. Talk with your clinical instructors to see if there is anyone that you can shadow at your site. And think of other disciplines outside of physical therapy: urologists, urogynecologists, gastroenterologists, gynecologists, OBs, colorectal surgeons, and gynecologic oncologists are just a couple of the disciplines that you could try to shadow with. If you're already out of school, you need to find therapists to observe and to network with. The more that you can see the principles and teachings in action, and the more that you talk with other providers who are in this specialty, the more confident that you'll become. Now, let's talk about courses you need to take. In the US, the two primary companies that offer the full courses to become a pelvic health physical therapist are the American Physical Therapy Association, or APTA, Academy of Pelvic Health, and the Herman and Wallace Pelvic Rehabilitation Institute. I really do advise everyone starting out taking courses that once you take the level 1 course of the particular company, stick with that one all the way through. They both offer 4 primary courses, essentially level 1, 2A, 2B, and 3. In level 1, you'll learn the basics on how to perform an external and internal vaginal examination and learn how to treat more simple diagnoses like urinary incontinence and prolapse. Each subsequent course goes into more complex diagnoses, treatment interventions, and also how to perform an internal rectal exam. And yes, we are a hands-on profession, so we are learning on each other in these courses. It can be a little awkward at first when the very first pelvic examination is started for some people, but the instructors and the teaching assistants at both companies do a fantastic job with helping everyone feel comfortable, and no big deal by the end. Beyond the pelvic series, both APTA Pelvic Health and Herman and Wallace offer a ton of other continuing education courses, including courses for postpartum running, gender-affirming care, and pelvic cancers. Personally, I have taken courses with both APTA Pelvic Health and Herman and Wallace, and I can say that they're both really high-quality courses and instructors, and you can't go wrong with choosing one over the other. For those of you interested in residencies, this next part is for you. So I mentioned earlier why I wanted to do a residency, and choosing to do a residency is a very personal and individualized choice. They aren't for everybody. I had a student for a 6-month clinical rotation, so by the end, she was truly ready to be entry level, treating pelvic health and oncology patients. She likely wouldn't have gotten as much out of a residency compared to someone like me who had an 8-week rotation that didn't include all the populations I wanted to see and didn't have a lot of pelvic health. It was more ortho. Some considerations when you're deciding whether or not to do a pelvic health residency. First and foremost are, what are your motivations? So mentoring, teaching opportunities, shadowing, didactic work, 100% caseload in your area of interest, and training that will help you to sit for and pass the board certification exam are common motivating factors. The second thing to consider is timing. I did my residency immediately after graduation because I knew this was the population I wanted to work with, and I was already in serious student study mode. So I know other therapists who worked for 1 or 2 or more years first and then went back into a residency. Pros of going this route are that they were able to learn how to actually be a PT first and then go into residency, and they were able to save money. That brings me to my next point, which is that residents are typically not paid a full-time salary. So this should be a consideration in your planning when you're thinking about finances and loans as well. The last thing I'll talk about today is specialization certifications. APTA Pelvic Health offers the Certificate of Achievement in Obstetric or Pelvic Health Physical Therapy. Those are CAP-OB or CAP-Pelvic. These are awarded to PTs who complete a series of courses, complete written and clinical testing, and complete a written case report. Herman & Wallace also offers one. This is called the PRPC, or Pelvic Rehabilitation Practitioner Certification. This is also awarded to PTs who complete a series of courses and sit for an examination. Finally, the only way to become board certified is through the American Board of Physical Therapy Specialties, or ABPTS. To earn this, you'll need to submit an application demonstrating at least 2,000 hours worked in direct clinical care in the specialty area or complete a residency. You'll also need to submit an application and a case report that will be reviewed. Once you're approved to sit for the exam, then you'll need to pass a 200-item examination. And once you're board certified, then you'll need to maintain it with certain requirements every couple years. Do you need to have a certification or board certification to demonstrate your competency? No, but they do give you leverage in marketing, communicating your expertise with others, increasing trust from referral sources and with your patients, and honestly, it's an amazing sense of an accomplishment. So I hope this video was helpful to you on your journey of becoming a pelvic health physical therapist. Make sure that you subscribe, turn on the notifications so you don't miss a new video.